Hey guys, I'm Connor. This is my 65 gallon, and today I'm going to be telling you guys about my 65 gallon.
This is Connor. This is my stepson. He's 11 years old and he asked to get involved with fish tanks. As you can see, we have a few in the basement and more around the corner. But he wanted his own, so we found this 65-gallon tank for him and we helped him stock it. So Connor, how long have you had your tank going?
Maybe a couple months.
Couple months? Cool. What do you have in there?
So I have some Walkmaster Guppies, all females right now. I've gotten rid of the males I've had. I have jungle vows and other plants. I have a common brown pucko is what we're calling him. He's a big guy down there. I have a short fin super red pucko, and I have a brown rhesus.
Yeah, it's a long fin ancestress or long fin bristlenose.
I have a lot of decorations in my tank. I have rocks to plants to pucko caves. I also have in my tank coral catfish. They're reticulated coral catfish, or the common name is network catfish.
Cool. And here's some of your caves here, right? These are for breeding your bristlenose.
Yep.
Now, why do you have all this plant cover in here up at the top? Why do we keep all that in your tank?
So the Walkmaster Guppies, like the babies, they can all hide in here so they don't get eaten by their parents or other fish.
That's a good idea.
And we also have lots of plants at the bottom for the corals when they breed, for their babies to hide. So they
All kinds of guppy babies. Now, is this why you took the males out of the tank?
Yes, I've taken the males out of the tank so the females can have time to just give birth to all the babies and let the babies grow up.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Now, how often do you do a water change on this tank?
I do a water change on my tank once a week.
Once a week.
I'll do one Thursday, and actually I'll do one Wednesday.
Okay, about how much water do you take out of the tank when you do that?
Usually if it's a normal water change, maybe this much.
About that much? Okay.
But if it's a big water change, I'll do about this much.
Okay.
From here to there.
Cool. And what kind of filter do you have on your tank?
Not quite sure.
That's an Aquaclear 70.
An Aquarium 70.
And I see you have a foam block on your intake tube so it doesn't suck up any babies, and that's a good idea as well. Would you suggest raising guppies for any younger people getting into the hobby?
Yes, guppies are very easy to breed. All you need is a tank like this. It's very easy to set up. You just need some common plants, some guppies of your choosing, and you can just make a tank like this. It doesn't need to be big. It can be a 55-gallon. It doesn't really matter. It can be from any size. I'd say it's not like a 10-gallon or anything smaller than that. But over that, I think you'd be okay with guppies. Because in the 65, I like the 65 and the 55s because when they have lots of babies and you spread plants around your tank, they have lots of room to hide.
Now, as a younger person, not fully grown yet, what is your biggest problem with having a tank this tall?
My biggest problem is that I can't reach the bottom.
Ah, so maybe a recommendation to learn from our mistakes is to get a tank that's not 2 feet tall, so younger people can reach the bottom easier.
So if you're 11 and you're about my height, I'd say go for a 55. If you want a tank like this, go for a 55 because it is shorter, it's wider, and it's just better because you can reach and do your own stuff to the tank.
Oh. Very good. Very good. Are you enjoying the hobby?
Yes, I am. It's an awesome hobby to get into. I love taking care of these fish and seeing how many babies and how many fish I have each day.
Cool. Would you recommend a young person going to an aquarium club to learn more about the hobby and get advice on how to keep their fish? And do you belong to an aquarium club?
Yes, I do belong to an aquarium club. It is called Berry
Regional Aquarium Club.
Regional Aquarium Club. So if you guys live in the area, you guys can go and check them out on Facebook.
Very good, very good.
And for younger people, I think that's a great way to get into the hobby is go to a club, learn about what other people have, and tell them about what you have, and let them give you advice.
So since you've learned all this stuff, do you do your own water changes?
Yes, I do my water changes, like as you would expect. I've only done it a few times by myself, but I do get my guardians to come down and watch me to make sure I'm doing it right, and to make sure I get it right.
Cool. And what kind of light do you have on your tank?
It is.
I can help you out a little bit. It's an LED shop light. That's all it is, 48-inch LED shop light. You could have used a 30-inch on it, but it just happens to be what we had. So what do you plan on doing with all these guppy babies once they grow up?
Once they grow up, I'm going to sell 2 females and a male in a group of 3 until I have the right amount of females and males I want. I'm going to be selling them to stores in my region, and with that money, I'll be using it to buy more stuff for my tank and making it better.
Very good. And that's a good way to do it if you can try to pay for your hobby a little bit. Nobody's going to get rich off this hobby, but that's a good plan for getting more stuff. So do you have any tanks in your future that you want? Any other kind of fish that you'd like to keep in the future?
Yes, there's a couple fish I'd like to keep in my future. One, which we have here, are rainbows. That's one I think that is cool. And for my second one, I would like clown roaches. I would also like, when I'm older, to raise dolphins. So we have both those types of fish in our aquarium room. But when I'm older, I would like to have my own aquarium room, and I want those to be my 2 main focuses in that room.
Cool. What are your absolute favorite fish in our fish room?
My absolute favorite fish in our fish room? I would have to say they would be the geos.
Well, thanks for doing the interview with me, Connor, for taking the time.
My pleasure. And for anyone watching at home, please like and subscribe.